Brown Act, the board is unable to hold discussion or take action at this time, but may refer the issues for further consideration. The period for public comments is limited to 20 minutes. The maximum for any one speaker is 5 minutes and are requested to state their name for the record. If the public wishes to speak on a specific item listed on the agenda, we ask that you please complete a request to be heard card and present it to the superintendent secretary before your item of interest is presented. At that time, you will be called on to speak to that item prior to the board deliberation. In the interest of time and order, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes with a maximum of 20 minutes per agenda item.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Joy Silva. I teach at the middle school. Good to see all of you this evening. I've been a teacher in this district for 22 years. Seems like a long time. It's not long. I have always been proud to teach in Livingston because I feel that we have the absolute best teachers and the best students. However, we are no longer being treated like the professionals that we are. Instead, we are constantly shown just how little we mean to this district. We have been told that we are appreciated. That's just lip service. In a society where actions speak louder than words, we are being shown exactly how appreciated we really are. We only had a 1% raise on our base salary in the last 7 years, and that was only retroactive to December, not August. That's a very clear indication of just how appreciated we truly are. We don't have an indefinite raise in our contracts like some. We have been very patient with this district and the rest of the country as we've traveled through very difficult economic times. Now the economy is the strongest it has been since 2009. It's time for the district to show us how appreciated we truly are by negotiating a fair contract. It has been said that we should be grateful to work here in Livingston. I believe it's the district that should be grateful that we have chosen. We, these wonderful, exceptional, amazing, hardworking teachers, have chosen to work in this district. Now it's time for the district to show us how appreciative they are of us by giving us a fair contract. Thank you.
Great job, Joy.
Good job.
My name is Maureen Whitaker from Livingston Middle School, music. Some of my comments will be similar to Joy's. Since 2009, we've received a 1% raise, as you heard, that settled in the spring and retro to December. I want to add my opinion. I felt like that was a slap in the face to do that. Also in 2013-2014, I was making a salary that was $852 less than the 2 previous years. All of us were, if you were teaching at that time, or from 2011 on. Granted, the base days for the 2 previous years were 4 more, 187, because of the training that was negotiated. But I made per base day in 2013-2014 with that 1%, $2.96 more per day, gross pay. And at this point in time, we deserve at the very least a 6% raise on our salary schedule. The promise of a raise was dangled as a carrot in past sparse years for teachers to help the district weather the storm until the economy and revenues improved. Now it has improved. The district has one of the highest reserves in the state, 10 times more than the state requires. And another fact is that between 2910 and 2013-14, the district is paying certificated staff salaries at a level of $1,071,661 less from 2009 to 2013, $1,071,661 less.
Good evening.
Thank you.
My name is Alejandro Fregoso. I've been teaching in the district for over 30 years. And I just want to state but how we've been helping our union as well. A few years ago, I was a member of our negotiating team. At that time, the district told us that there was very limited budget, and the most the district could afford was to cover half of the insurance increase for that year, leaving each teacher responsible for the other half. We were told that that was all the district could do, and whenever the district received more funds, then the teachers will receive more money. You, the board, you are in charge of the school district, and I strongly urge you to reconsider your most recent offer to LETA. Thank you.
My name is Scott Campbell, and I teach students with special needs at Campus Park. This is the second time I have ever spoken out at a board meeting. Last time I talked about the loss I felt as it appeared our LUSD team, the board, the administration, the teachers, the classified, were being split. This is difficult to say, but I am sorry to say that this split has continued to widen. The current negotiation pattern is very divisive. I say this not out of anger or to blame anyone, but out of a sense of disappointment and loss, because it appears we teachers are no longer viewed as professional educators to be respected or valued by this administration and this board. The current offerings of 3% and then 3.25% and now 3.5%, it's really an insult to every teacher in this district. We teachers need to see that you truly do respect us, not just with words that ring hollow or with trinkets, but something that we know you do value: money. In prior years, when monies were non-existent, as professionals, we tightened our belts and made do with what we had. We suffered the loss of the buying power of our dollars year by year. Now, however, money is available. Mr. Zamora and the rest of the board members, I know you are good people. There is no anger in my heart. There is only sadness. I urge you to reconsider how you demonstrate that you truly do value us as professionals. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Donna Malik, and I've been a teacher here in Livingston for 15 years. I'm committed to my students, this district, and the community. Over the years, we teachers have diligently worked without regular pay increases, knowing there was no money. Now times have finally changed for the better. We all know this. There's no doubting it. There is definitely more money available to give us teachers a noticeable pay increase. It's not fair treatment to try to make us believe there's not enough money for a better raise. While telling us there is limited funding for raises, over $20,000 has been paid to legal firms for negotiations on the district's behalf. I don't know how this can be justified or who approves this, but it indicates that there needs to be a shift in priorities. Now is the time the district can alleviate all this unnecessary stress. Now is the time the district can prove our value to us. Instead of telling us that we are valuable resources, show us. Show us how valuable we are with a competitive salary increase. We deserve it, not a minimal one. Thank you.
I'm Sue Campbell, Livingston Middle School. Recently, I was able to organize a day of professional development for our science teachers at LMS, which also involved math teachers, teachers from another site, our academic coaches, and some administrative staff. It was an awesome and productive and worthwhile time. There were times that the room was noisy as the group engaged in very deep discussions. They wrestled with the understanding of the new science standards, began to see the Common Core connections with language arts and math. I'm not sharing this with you just as a report of some things that we were doing, but really to provide a context behind. I've been wrestling with a lot of thoughts, and that event helped crystallize a lot of those thoughts. There are 4 things I want to share with you. The first is that the implementation of Common Core in NGSS is placing a demand on teachers unlike any other previous state adoptions. It's more than just a set of state standards. I would challenge you to go and read them. There are major pedagogical shifts. When we worked on the standards during that day, you need to understand that we worked in groups of 4 and 5, and we focused in the morning on one single standard, not a group. It took us 2 hours to wrestle through and take that standard apart and get it into a rough form for us to begin to possibly use it to plan lessons and units. In that time, we had just scratched the surface. I could not have predicted our ending points, and our products could not have been created with one person alone sitting at their desk or at home. Part of our conversations involved considering possible instructional ideas and thoughts about where we might find the resources. Gone are our days when a teacher can take a teacher's edition and look ahead at the coming lessons and spend time fleshing it out and think about how to make adaptations for their particular students. It's simply not possible anymore. Our teachers are often having to fly without a manual, and sometimes, quite honestly, we're having to learn to fly with few or no instructions. My second thought. There's a growing expectation for the development of teacher leaders. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I applaud it. One of my teachers was questioned by someone else about how we stay on top of our science standards or science content. And that teacher simply shared that we ourselves personally look for professional development, and we attend professional development on our own. We seek it out, and generally in the summer. Not directed by the district to do it, but because as professionals, we feel that that is the thing that we need to do. In addition to any professional development the district offers, many of us, not just science teachers, look to expand our own knowledge, hone our skills, regardless of whether it is needed for salary placement. I believe we are professionals. That's what a professional does. And as professionals, we need to be treated as such. You cannot say to us that you see us as professionals, but treat us otherwise. You can't treat people or teachers like they're widget makers and then expect them to take on professional responsibilities. You can't expect people to be professional, which involves really people helping with decision makings and being able to speak their mind and then try to control their every move and word. I think that the recent counteroffer to pay teachers for some planning and developing training is a good first step, and I appreciated seeing that. But I don't believe it goes far enough. I think the compensation rate should be higher for those who are actually planning and delivering that compensation than the person who's sitting in the seat receiving it. Third, the work of educating our students ultimately rests on us, the teachers. It has been said time and time again by people here. It can't happen without us. Those students cannot be taught without us in those rooms. But we need support to do the task. And quite honestly, we need the energy to do the task. I personally find that this lengthy negotiations process to be draining. It's draining mentally and at times emotionally. The thought that we are basically halfway through the instructional year and we are still negotiating is to me distressing.
It is.
To think